Our first speaker today is an attorney in Torrington. He is currently the vice president of the Connecticut Bar Association. He is soon to be the president-elect of the Connecticut Bar Association, which means that by next summer he is likely to be elected as the president of the Connecticut Bar Association. After the Bar Association recently published very strong statements about challenges to the rule of law and about DEI efforts, and more broadly, the things that are going on in America, I asked our next speaker to come and join us. So please welcome Attorney J. Paul Vance. I'm Junior. Okay. Right into that microphone.
Thank you very much. This one. Beautiful. Thank you so very much for doing this. It's so important. I'm watching on social media as I see these rallies, these town halls. It's impossible, sometimes it seems, to be on the other side of MAGA because they're led by anger, they're led by hate. When I first ran for office when I was 26 years old in Waterbury, I ran because I loved the city where I grew up. I ran because I came in at a time when our mayor was arrested and went to jail. And I thought it was time for people to stand up who believe in the areas where they live, who believe in the process, who believe in the rule of law. And it's why I'm happy to be involved with the 32nd District on State Central. It's why I'm happy to serve in leadership with the Connecticut Bar Association. And I'm so thrilled that people like you will do this every weekend. And we can't stop. Rick, it's fantastic that you asked me. I'm really honored. My children are tired of listening to me talk. They're sitting in my car. One didn't have a jacket because I know some things, but I don't know enough about the weather that if you weigh 80 pounds, you should probably put a jacket on and stand in this cold. Let me tell you a couple things. I want to tell you a little bit about my why. So first and foremost, I received a Facebook message about coming to speak here, calling this group anti-American, calling this group radical, asking why I would speak. Well, let me tell you this. I've been married for 20 years to a fantastic person. I don't think we agree on 100% of anything, but we agree that we love each other. We agree that when we don't agree, we can debate things, and generally my wife wins. But we're not going to agree on everything as Democrats, right? We don't. I'm an Irish Catholic Democrat from Waterbury. Some people would say that's conservative. I don't. I would describe myself as a dirt under the fingernails Democrat. I don't vote for Republicans. I don't support Republicans. I have family members who love Donald Trump, and I can't understand why. But it's my job, I believe, as somebody who's involved and somebody who cares, to explain to them that you don't impeach judges because you don't agree with a decision. There's a process for that. The president doesn't understand the process, and process be damned. He's going to try to get his way. I grew up in Waterbury, and I was the first person in my family to go to college. A little bit about me, so somebody asked if I was related. I'm Paul Vance Jr. My father was a state trooper for 42 years in Connecticut. He grew up as the second child of four to a single mother in Torrington. By the odds and by the statistics, he shouldn't have been able to succeed and do what he has accomplished in the state police. But he thought it was very, very important for us to have educations, and he pushed and pushed and pushed and wanted me to go to law school. Why? Because he thought that it was really important that as a state trooper that people be treated fairly, that people be respected, that it's really funny to me. People would come up to my father and Stop and Shop when I was a kid and would thank him. Oh, thank you very much, Lieutenant Vance. Thank you very much for all you do. And I would say, Dad, who is that? And he says, that's somebody that I arrested. And I would laugh and say, oh, well, they really like you. And he said, well, if you treat people the way that you want to be treated, then things should work out. In politics, that seems like a relic of the past. Treat people the way you want to be treated. I watch it in small towns. I see it in the state when I'm up lobbying for the Connecticut Bar Association. I'm really concerned about, most of all, our local levels. I'm really happy to see Rich Boritz here. Rich does a fantastic job at Heritage Village communicating so that people know what's going on, that people know how to get involved, that people know that postcards make a difference, that standing on the corner, no matter what the weather is, makes a difference. I was shocked to get that email message from somebody asking about this group and calling it an anti-American, an anti-police rally. Love your neighbor doesn't seem like an issue we should fight about. Black Lives Matter doesn't seem like an issue we should fight about. Be kind and fair to all people, respect everyone, doesn't seem like an issue we could fight about. We can disagree about tax policy, but this president and these folks, even locally, the people that wear those red hats, they don't want to hear the other side of the issue. They don't want to hear any side of the issue. If you're not on board with them, you're wrong and you're evil. And we need to teach people, like the two people in the car that will only half listen to me, we need to teach people how government is supposed to work. I've been honored for the last 8 or 9 years to be a professor at Post University. And I teach legal ethics. And I teach American government. And right now, these kids don't understand what's going on in American government. They don't. They don't understand how we have a president that believes that you can impeach a judge. They don't understand why we have an unelected Doge, Elon Musk, deciding whether or not we should have Social Security, whether or not we should have Medicaid. And the pain that we're going to feel locally has not begun yet. We want to be fair and kind to all people. We want to be sure that those who need a hand up get the hand up. I don't think there's anything we should disagree on. A couple things I want to throw out there. When I went to law school, geez, Rick, I don't want to admit how long ago. When I went to law school, when I was a little thinner, my hair wasn't gray. As I told you, I was the first person in my family to go to college, and I certainly was the first person to go to law school. If you told me when I was 13 years old that I would end up becoming a lawyer, I would have thought it was the equivalent of walking on the moon. I had no idea what lawyers did. I knew one lawyer from my church in Waterbury. But I always wanted to be a prosecutor initially. I wanted to be a prosecutor because I thought, well, my father's a state trooper, and he's going to arrest them, and then I'll prosecute them. And the longer I was in law school, I realized that the law needs to work for everybody, and I didn't want to be a prosecutor anymore. I wanted to make sure that I could fight for people who have been hurt by others. I've represented indigent folks. I've represented all kinds of different people. But the most important thing to me was that the law is supposed to work for everyone. It's supposed to help people. It's supposed to pull people up. I like to hear what people are saying. Last thing I will say. And we as a Connecticut Bar Association, we see that the law is under attack. And it drives me crazy when I have friends who are Republicans and who work as lawyers to just capitulate to what's going on, because they're more excited about owning the libs, right? They're more excited about winning. I tell my children all the time, I'm a Red Sox fan. I root for the Red Sox. But I don't root for a party. I root for America. I root for people to be treated correctly. I root for the Constitution. If we had a wonderful Republican who would support the Constitution, then we could stand down and be quiet. But we don't. We have a group of people that do not care about the Constitution. Chief Justice Rehnquist, rest in peace, described our judicial system as one of the crown jewels of our system of government. We learned when we were in grammar school that the judiciary is supposed to be a co-equal branch of government, and so is Congress. We need to make sure that Congress is doing their job, including some of the people that call themselves Democrats. I'm really unhappy, as I'm sure many of you are, with them caving and keeping the government open. There were 10 Democrats who I believe forgot their job. Their role is to stick up for the Constitution and for people that are going to be hurt by those who are in elected office now. Locally, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing this. Send postcards, Rich. Send those emails even if you don't get responses. Every time I get it, I read it from beginning to end. Michael did such a fantastic job. Michael Carrington, who I know is busy today, he did such a fantastic job of sending out an email. It's time for us, and it's time for those in the car to be at these rallies, to hold up these flags, to hold up these signs, and to teach folks that don't understand how our government is supposed to work. God bless each and every one of you. We have a lot of battles to start locally. We have a battle to continue nationally, because the Constitution and the rule of law is too important, and we can't afford to lose it. God bless each and every one of you, and thank you for having me here.